definition of half-arsing life is. So I'm going to do this thing where people get ready. They get ready on camera. And I was like, why the fuck would anybody do that? Like, why don't you just get ready and do your thing in the morning? Why the fuck would you come onto camera and like do your face in the screen? This is very strange. But what I found myself doing this morning, there I was, and I'm having a chat. I was having a chat by myself in the mirror. And I was like, you know what the definition of half-arsing life is? And I went, oh, there it is. That's why people, they get ready on camera in the morning, because when they're standing in the mirror and they're getting ready, they're having chats with themselves. So I was like, well, I'm having this chat anyway, so I might as well just, like, in my own space, I'm talking to myself. I'm having conversations by myself, although it is a bit harder doing it on screen. So the mirror is right here. So I'm doing it while I'm talking to you. But yeah, I finally got it. I was like, I'm talking to myself. I'm having a conversation by myself. So why don't we actually do this with the peoples? The definition of half-arsing life is doing what you're not born and built for. Anybody who I have a conversation with, and I cannot be friends with people who don't care about systemic change. I cannot be friends with people who do not place the highest priority on their mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, and energetic health. It just doesn't work. Those friendships, they come to an end because there are certain things that we can do with one another. So we can have an intellectual conversation, or we can go out and we can have fun. But the conversation always comes to a point of shit's fucked in my life somehow in some area. And I am not very good at just standing and listening. Now, I can stand and listen. Let me get this other eyebrow done. I can stand and listen to people who are in my inner circle and are doing the work. And every day they're committed to the work. And so when they come to me and they say, babe, can you just listen? I just need you to listen for a moment. Then yes, I'll listen, because they're already on the path and they're already doing the thing. And when they come to the next threshold, it's because they've come to the next threshold because they're in a space of growth. If I'm surrounded by people who are half-arsing life because they're not doing what they're born and built for, they're investing their energy on a daily basis because they've decided this is what's going to earn me $1 and this is what's going to pay for my livelihood and this is what I have great skills at. We've all got great skills. Your skills, that is your zone of excellence. Your zone of excellence has you needing to work hard. Me, I don't like to work hard. I'm not a fan of working hard. I like to live an easy life. And so when you're smart and you've decided that you want to live an easy life, you start doing what you're born and built for. That means that you step out of living in the zone of excellence and you start to move into your zone of genius. Your zone of genius is what comes to you naturally. You don't think about it. You more than likely don't even see it because you're naturally doing it every single day. I'm a natural born leader. I'm a natural guide. I am somebody who has pattern recognition that like comes out of the wazoo. People who know me are like, Jesus Christ, it is insane watching you in action, and it's insane watching how your brain works. Like the things that you see, the things that you perceive, the things that you understand, the things that you're aware of, most of the human beings don't even get a glimmer of that, the kind of stuff that goes through your awareness on a daily basis. I'm like, yeah, friends, I know. That's why the pool of the people that I hang out with is very, very small, because I don't hang out with the general population. I'm not hanging out with 98% of the peoples. I hang out with my very, very inner circle, and I work with people who are operating at systemic change leadership. And my friends who are loyal and from my past are lovely people, but they're not the people that I'm conversing with on a daily basis. They're not the people that I'm investing money in to fly to the ends of the earth for. They're not the people that I'm investing to fly to the ends of the earth for because they've got a special occasion or something's going on. No. Because, and the reason for this is that I get really tired of being in company with people who say the same shit over and over again. Actually, this is not working for my life. I really don't know how people get ready in the mirror because the lighting is fucked as well. So I can't actually see what I'm doing. Whereas in this mirror, it works well. I cannot stand and have the same conversations with people over and over again. I have walked away from friendships where they have been in the same situation over and over again. And I'm like, I'm done. It's been 10 years of listening to the same shit over and over again. Yes, you're a nice person. Yes, you're a kind person. Yes, we've had fun together. But nice and kind doesn't create evolutionary change. Nice and kind has people continuing to do the same shit every day that keeps them stuck. And this is not fun for me. And so I don't hang out with those people. I walk away from those friendships and I keep my circles very, very clean and clear. Now, what you need to know about me and what you need to know about yourself, if you don't already know this, there is a specific way that you exchange energy with the world. In human design, if you know anything about human design, I'm assuming that if you're following me and you're watching this, that you know something about human design. If you don't know anything about human design, start getting to know it. I'm also assuming that you know something about gene keys. And if you don't know anything about gene keys, also another thing for you to understand. I will also assume that you know something about wealth consciousness. Now, once you've wealth profiled yourself and you understand exactly what skills you need to use, and yes, you need to use your skills for a period of time, that is what enables you to create whatever you need in order for you to feed your zone of genius. Now, if you don't know anything about your wealth dynamics and how you fit into the web of society, then you need to go and do that. So these are three predominant elements that you need to understand. You need to understand the shit that is keeping you stuck. You need to understand how you exchange energy with the world. And you need to understand exactly how you fit into this web of society in ways that enable you to make lots of money. So there are many elements to being a human being. And the most important ones are your emotional, your energetic, your mental, your physical, and your spiritual health. Now, you need to put financial health at the top of your priority list as well. People who say, oh, I just want to share my gifts with the world and I just want to help people. Money's not important to me. I'm like, yeah, that's why you're living a shit life. That's why you don't have the freedom that you desire, because you haven't prioritized one of the most important tools that we need on planet Earth. God is not going to come and save your ass and pay your bills. That's not how it works. Paying your bills and living your best life gets sorted because you share your gifts with the world and you learn how to monetize them. I know of so many spiritual women, gorgeous, beautiful, connected to God, connected to the angels, and they've got no financial security. They don't know how to make a dollar. This is not going to get you very far in life. So the definition of half-arsing life is not doing what you're born and built for. It's fucking around with your skills, earning $1 every now and then because you're a good conversationalist and because you're a nice person and because you know how to have great chats with people. And so when you say, oh yeah, I can do that thing, you can do that thing, and they might pay you for a moment for it, but you've got no ecosystem, you've got no foundations, you are not doing the one thing that you are here for. There is something very specific that you are born and built for. Every single human being, when they landed on planet Earth, they were born into the patterns of the world, the patterns and the programming of the world at that point in time. And when you landed on planet Earth at that point in time, you were born into those patterns. You were born into those programs of society. Whether you like it or not, stuff was imprinted. Because you're a human being, you're super, super sensitive, and things get imprinted on you. That's why the world is such a mess, because so many things are imprinted on human beings, and things are still fucked because people haven't resolved them. Now, before we even get to the biological conditioning, which is where most human beings get stuck. They get stuck in healing cycles. They get stuck in the lethargy and the catharsism of healing cycles. We all need to heal. We've all had shit happen to us. We've all been traumatized in some shape or form. Yes, this is important. It's important to decondition. But the most important thing before you even get to the deconditioning, the understanding of your biological imprints, is you need to understand how you're born and built to be human on this planet at this time. Most human beings don't do that. They're just like, oh, I just figured out that I'm good at something. Yeah, I'm good at hammering nails into a wall. I'm very good at this. I'm good at building shit. I'm very, very good at this. But there are things that I'm born to build, and there are things that I'm built to build, and there are things that I'm good at and it's nice to have. I like to use an automatic wall drill. This is fun for me. I like to use tools in the shed. This is fun for me. I like to do gardening. Am I a gardener? Am I paid to be a gardener? No. I am paid to plant seeds, yes, and enable people to harvest them over the years, yes. But I'm not wasting my time getting paid for things that I am just good at. I'm good at lots of things. I'm a person who is into mastery. I'm a person that is into excellence. I don't half-ass anything in my life. I'm just not built like that. If you were getting paid for the thing that you were good at, not the thing that comes to you naturally, your calendar is full. You don't have the time and energy that you desire. And I'm a little bit tireder than I normally am because I built a product last week that had me staying up until 1 o'clock one morning. And these days, at 44 years old, if I stay up late, I immediately, the body's like, no, Woodgate, this is not working for your life. So I'm catching up. When I go to bed at 8:30 in the evening and I wake up at 4:30 in the morning because my body's like, let's go rock and roll, and I head to the gym at 5, then life is great. So I'm getting back into that cycle, and it's taking me a few days. And then I look a little bit less tired. So once you've figured out what you naturally do, once you've figured out what your systemic change leadership role is on this planet, it's not invented, it's not an idea, it's not what your mother said, it's not what your father said, it's not what your family line has said because you come from a family of doctors. It is you in your uniqueness. In your uniqueness, in your specificity, in the insanity of the alchemy of you, of how your system has been imprinted. The moment that you arrived on this planet Earth, your job was set for you. Your vocation was set for you. Your systemic change contribution to planet Earth was set for you. Now, if you're fully science-based and you don't consider the magic of life and you don't consider the mystery of life, your life is going to be hard. Facts. You're going to be in zones of suffering, in zones of irritation, in zones of frustration. You're going to find yourself in situations where you're like, oh my God, why the fuck is this happening again? There is mystery to life. Not everything has an answer to it. That is the magic of life. So if you're fully science-based, you and I, it's not going to work because I'm going to have to spend my time educating you and inviting you into some form of spirituality and inviting you into some form of not everything is 1 + 1 = 2. A lot of it is, but not all of it is. So if you're fully science-based, you've got no bones of spirituality in you, you've got no mysticism inside of you, then exit now, walk away, unfollow me. It's not going to work between you and I. If you're a human being that understands, as a human, you've got your mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, and energetic health, and you understand that we live on planet Earth, and that planet Earth is naturally harmonized, and if we lined up with that, then everything would work. You also understand that we live in a society where stuff doesn't work because human beings are involved, and there is violence, there's greed, there's power playing. You get that we've created this as human beings, and you also get that we are so incredibly lucky to be living on this planet, that it is the best playground that exists, and we get to have all the fun, and you are the creator of your life, and as long as you are pulling up your sleeves, getting it done, doing the work. I'm just about to start working with a woman that I absolutely adore, and I've been very clear with her. I'm like, okay, you want to come in on the path to your next million. You've been doing deep internal work. She's been doing very, very deep internal work with me, and that's what makes building a business and growing a business that you're born and built for very easy. It makes getting to your next million, getting to your next 6 figures, if that's the stage that you're at, very, very easy. Once you've got your architecture sorted, once you've got your internal sorted, you can deal with anything. You can be with anything. You can contend with anything. You can move through anything. So, number 1, criteria. You are someone who has a growth mindset. You wake up and you're like, how do we make this better? How do we enjoy more? Then you and I can play. If you want to get paid for what? What's the time? 10 o'clock. I've got a client session in 1 hour. If you want to get paid for what you are born and built for, and you understand that you have a very, very specific role to contribute to systemic change, you as a human being, and you understand that there is also great mystery in this world that we have absolutely no explanation for. However, what some people consider magic is not something I consider magic. I consider when you have signed the contract, you've said yes to the assignment, because you're like, okay, cool, I'm here, I'm on planet Earth, we're doing this thing, don't know how long I'm going to be around for, but however long I'm here for, I'm going to get it done, I'm going to do the thing. You've signed the contract, you've accepted the mission. Oh my gosh, this oil I'm loving so much. This face oil, which I mix with some cream. I'm still working on a bit of face yoga. 44 years old, it's starting to drop. What was I saying? Train of thought. Back it up. My thoughts just disappeared because I spoke about cream and oil. And so now I've lost my own train of thought. If you want to get paid for the specific systemic change that you're here for, and you know that as a concept, you get that as a concept, you get that that's what you're here for, that you are here to contribute to humanity, then it's not magic. When things happen, when things line up, when the right person is put in your field and you're like, oh my gosh, I could have never come up with that plan myself. I could have never organized it to happen in that way. I could have never put things in order for all of this to work out the way that it's working out. That's not magic. That's you lining up with the mission that you're here for on planet Earth. That's just you doing your job. That's just you saying yes to the mission. Now, I really feel like I should have put a filter on this. Like a lot of people come onto Instagram and they put a filter. I'm like, no filter. We're just going to go, this is me and a little bit of, haven't had as much sleep as I like to have, but all good. You're getting me in my raw and real state. And this is also super shit lighting. So, I should have done things a bit better, but I was like, fuck it, man. I'm getting ready. And this is, this is as real as it gets. Bed made. Well, bed almost made. It's not magic, people. Like, honestly, the whole thing of when things work out, the right resources come in, the right opportunities come in. I've been invited to be featured in one of the most influential women in business magazines. That was 10 days ago. another invitation came through yesterday of another magazine that people want to feature me in. I'm just doing my thing. I'm living my life. I just get on with living my life, doing my thing. I'm constantly being invited to here, there, and everywhere. I'm constantly being invited into opportunities. My name is constantly being dropped in various different rooms. I don't give a shit about being famous. I give a shit about having less stupid people on planet Earth. That's what I really give a shit about. And the only way for that to happen is for everybody to do their own job. Do the job that they're here for on planet Earth. Number one, that's taking care of yourself. You have to be in deep relationship with yourself and take care of yourself. You cannot be not in reverence of this experience on planet Earth. And if you're not in reverence and you don't treat life like the most sacred thing, you don't have the utmost respect for your own life, you're not going to have a great time. You're not going to take care of yourself. You're going to be in zones of addiction. You're going to be doing a whole bunch of shit that's not for you. You're going to be hanging out with people that are not for you, involved in projects that are not for you, surrounded by people that are not for you, in places that are not for you, living in an environment, in environments that don't work for you. This doesn't work for anybody's life. When people walk around with their eyes closed, and they don't look around and they don't pay attention and they don't consider that we're on planet Earth and we're surrounded by a whole bunch of human beings and we all need to be considerate of one another because we're here on this playground of Earth together, then life doesn't work. I do my job and I put myself here out on the internet and I expose myself the way that I do, not because I give a shit about being famous. Not because I give a shit about being the most well-known person on planet Earth for systemic change leadership. I don't give a fuck about that. What I give a fuck about is influencing people who want to bring change. And so I live and breathe this stuff. And I do whatever it takes. If you're not doing whatever it takes, if you haven't signed the contract, if you haven't said yes to the assignment, you're going to be half-arsing your life because you're not doing what you're born and built for. The moment that you figure out what you're born and built for, everything changes. You get paid for the job that you're here for on planet Earth. Not just your skills, but exactly the patterning and the programming that you were born into in that moment that you landed on planet Earth. It was imprinted. You came out the womb, landed on planet Earth, that shit got imprinted on you, and immediately you started to experience all the things that you came to Earth to master. And when I tell you exactly what you were to get paid for, from a systemic change vocational perspective, you will look at it and you will go, oh my Cristo, this is what I have been experiencing all through my life. Yes, of course. Because if you were here to teach something to someone, if you were here to guide someone, you need to be in the mastery of it yourself. And if you're not in the mastery of it yourself, then don't teach it to other people. Master it for yourself first. If you haven't figured it out for yourself, don't be going to try and figure it out for somebody else because you've got the theory of it. If you don't have the embodiment of it, you are teaching people an idea. You don't understand what it means to have gone through all of that stuff. It's like me, and this is an example that I use often. It's like me going to a psychotherapist and talking to them about my rape that happened when I was 23 years old. And they've never been raped before. And they want to guide me on the experience because they've got a theory of understanding of what it means for a woman to be raped and what she goes through. No. It's like people putting themselves on the internet as relationship coaches and talking about co-parenting when they're not a parent, they've never been married, they've never been separated, and they've never been divorced. And now they want to give me guidance on co-parenting. No, people, this is not how it works. How it works is that you are born and built for something really specific. You have your own job to do on planet Earth. Stay in your lane, do your own job, stop wasting time with, oh my gosh, this thing is of interest to me, and so because I'm so passionate about it, I want to share it with other people. No, that's not how you get paid. That's not how you reach your first 6 figures, your second 6 figures, all the way through to your first million and your next million. That's not how it works. Now, of course, if you want to make it hard for yourself and you don't want to do what I do and what I like, which is the easy life, I like to have time and space. I haven't set an alarm for 8 years. I stepped out of corporate, 18 years of being the right-hand woman to male CEOs. I put my heels down. I took off my red lipstick. I stopped blow drying my hair. I removed all of my suits, my beautiful woolen suits from the cupboard. I got rid of all of my beautiful corporate dresses, and I decided, fuck that. I'm going into barefoot bikini life. Barefoot bikini life enables me to build systems and to create influence in ways that I would never have got to being stuck in corporate land by men in their mid-50s to mid-60s with gray hair and big bellies who were so in their egos and weren't open to doing the work. Most men become men at the age of 60. They remain boys for most of their lives, and I got tired of playing with boys. And so now, me, in my bikini or sometimes naked, I build $1 million systems from wherever I am in the world. I go and I chill next to the pool. I have chats with people who pass in and out of the villa that I live in, wherever I'm living in a villa somewhere in the world. Right now I'm in Vietnam. I started in Italy last year, and then I traveled all the way up through Europe, and I stopped in the UK, and then I came across to Malaysia, and I spent some time in Singapore, and okay, it's been 13 months on the road now. I build incredible things, overlooking beautiful views, doing things my way. You get to do things your way. You don't have to be stuck in a box. You don't have to do anything that you are not born and built for. Once you are on the track doing what you're born and built for, I'm on Living Book Tour at the moment. I published a book at the end of 2024. It went to digital print, became hit #1 bestseller on Amazon, which is a pretty easy thing to do. I mean, we've done it so many times now. For other people, it's not an easy thing to do because they don't get started and they don't get finished. When you start something and you finish something and you know how to do it, you can create the results that you desire. That was at the end of 2024. At the beginning of 2025, it went to print. At the end of 2024, I got the whisper, and the whisper said, sell everything and go on Living Book Tour. And I was like, what? I was living in Australia. I was on the East Coast, up on the Central Coast. I was living in an elevated 4-bedroom house overlooking the beautiful bay, surrounded by the forest, surrounded by incredible caves. I need to be surrounded by nature, and I need to have beauty. And I was there for 3 years. And when I got this signal, sell everything and go on Living Book Tour, I was like, are you insane? What is this? What is this? What is this signal? What is this whisper? What is this guidance? Are you crazy? I have a son who turns 18 this August, and I was like, my son's here, he's finishing school, and this whisper just kept on coming. Sell everything, go on Living Book Tour. The book is called The Lost Art of Being Human, A Leader's Guide to End War. And if you haven't got your copy yet, head to my bio to get your copy. If there's only one book that you read in your life, this is the one that you need. It says, it does what it says on the tin. The Lost Art of Being Human. You remember the art of being human. Everything that you need for planet Earth with Earth rules. Not just spiritual, oh, I'm connected to the angels and the God rules. Actual Earth rules of how you live well, how you live the easy life, how you end war, how you exit peace. 24 chapters. Books like this are not just to be picked up and read. Books like this, you live and you breathe. And so, I'm currently on chapter 12. I'm on the womanhood chapter, which is the lost art of femininity. And every chapter, when you live into it, and I go to very specific places and I do specific things. So, chapter 12 was family, the lost art of connection. And most of that was lived in Vietnam. And I've transitioned into the womanhood chapter. And very soon I'm going to be going to Thailand. In the next 3 weeks, I'll be in Thailand. And I'm heading to coastside living. I was like, okay, cool. I'm done with the rice fields now. And this has been really beautiful for the family and the womanhood chapter. And life activates when it's the next chapter. I don't decide, okay, on Living Book Tour, that's not how it works. That's not how any living field works. The book guides me to exactly where I've got to go. My work guides me to exactly where I've got to be. And so I've been in activation points around the world over the past 13 months that have had a very, very strong experience of war, which is why I've been in Vietnam for such a long time, for obvious reasons. The longest that I have been in other places was 9 weeks maximum. That was in Montenegro, and that was when big build out was happening around my AI. My AI is called Serafina, and so I was completing there. Anyway, so I'm shifting into chapter 13, manhood, the last art of masculinity, which I am very excited to see what comes through from this. There's a lot that's happening in the background, and yeah, I think I'm going to be most surprised and delighted by this chapter. Anyway, so the thing about The Lost Art of Being Human, A Leader's Guide to End War, is that it's not just a book that you read, it's a book that you live. And so I'm on living book tour around the world, living and breathing my work and being in the activation of everything that it brings. I highly recommend that you get the book and you live and you breathe it for a period of time, however long it takes. So for me to live and breathe the book, probably it's going to take me about 2 years in total. It's complete when it's complete. I've just announced that Obsessed, my live world tour, is kicking off in 2027, and that is gatherings of all shapes and forms. Breakfasts, lunches, dinners, retreats, overnight retreats, 7-day stays with me, a full 28-day immersion in a beautiful villa to get it done, to get you to your next million. We're gathering in more intimate events, and we're gathering in more open events. And so you'll be hearing more about that as the guidance comes through. When you're living and breathing what you're born and built to do, you do whatever the fuck you like. It's that simple. That is when you enter your easy life era. Nothing needs to be hard anymore. You've been in the hard, deep excavation of self. You've cleared it all out. You've cleaned out your motherline, your fatherline, your God line. You've got it all. You've healed from the inside out. You've understood exactly what your architecture is. You know exactly how you're built. Your internal state is so rock solid and so clean and so pure that you've become the clearest channel that exists. You know exactly where to go, what to do, what's next, what's up. Nothing wastes your time anymore. You don't invest your energy and your thoughts in anything that is not for you. And so life opens up and everything just becomes really, really simple. Get paid for what you're born and built for. Contribute to the systemic change that you're here for. And all of the humans around you will start to become more intelligent because they will start to become more aware. It is not fun being the smartest person in the room. It's not fun being the most interesting person in the room. It's not fun being the person that has it mostly together, being the most advanced and the most evolved person in the room. It's not fun because you land up having to constantly guide. When you are surrounded by people who are on trajectories where, they care about growth, you're not the smartest person in the room. You're not the most intelligent person in the room. You're not the most beautiful person in the room. You're not the fittest person in the room. You're not the person with the most money in the room. And you calibrate to that next level. But if you, wherever you go, are always the person that is guiding everyone, you are the person that's always got it most together, you're in the wrong rooms. You're with the wrong people. You're in the wrong partnerships. This is not fun for anyone. And I can most certainly say it hasn't been fun for me over the years because I'm a whole woman. Back in the day, these used to be very big beers, and now it's water and sparkling water every now and then with a glass of wine, and every now and then I love a martini. I'm a huge fan of a martini, but this is like once every 4 months I'll have a martini. When you're on a growth trajectory and you surround yourself by people who are on a growth trajectory. And I don't mean like always being in these personal development spaces where everything's like hoo ha ha ha, big, massive, huge energy. It's just very simply lining up with the people that not have a similar mindset to you. I'm not interested in people who have a similar mind. Well, I'm interested in people who have similar mindsets to me, but I'm not interested in people who think exactly like me. I am surrounded by people whose thought processes are completely different to mine, and they think completely differently to me. I need that. I need different perspectives in my life. I need to be in moments of conflicting ideas, because if I'm not in those spaces, I'm not alive. I love new ideas. I love new ways of thinking, but I don't love stupidity. I don't stand around for stupidity. When people start to have stupid conversations with me, I will look them in the eye and I'll say, this for me is a stupid conversation. I'm not interested in having it. So I'm out. Like, you lost me at that point. Like, that's just ridiculous. And I'm not even going to explain to you why it's ridiculous, because this is not a good investment of my energy. So knowing who you are, knowing what you're built for, knowing what you're born for, knowing the systemic change that you're here to contribute to, everything changes. The link is in my bio. Get paid for what you're born and built for. And I'll see you on the other side. Until soon, have a beautiful day.